How are you feeling? How's the shoulder feeling?
I feel good. I feel very good. Put it through a whole bunch of tests, did a whole bunch of stuff with it to make sure that it's feeling as good as I need it to feel and want it to feel, and it's passed everything with flying colors. So I'm very fortunate and very lucky to be able to play.
What was the first day back on the practice field like on Christmas Eve?
It was like a Christmas present. I was very, very thankful that they cleared me to go out there, and it was just, for me, it was all about being back there with the guys. I mean, I love my teammates. I love being out on the field. Even besides the actual practice, just the inside jokes, just the stuff you get to mess around in between periods. It was so much fun just to be back on the field, and it feels like home.
So what's the strength level like? That's a really nice sweatsuit.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
What's the strength level like compared to before you got hurt?
It's very close. So we had metrics that we wanted to hit along the way to get back to the strength level with where we were before, and so it's very similar to where it was before. It's not quite there, but it's very close.
So give me an example. You were back in the production room. Like, what are you able to do? How much? I know you don't like to do it, but it puts it in perspective for normal people because we know what weights feel like.
I mean, one of the metrics we wanted to hit was we wanted to be able to do 120-pound dumbbells on a dumbbell bench press for multiple reps, and so multiple sets. So we hit that metric about a week ago, and that's what we wanted to be able to do, is be able to take those 120-pound dumbbells in each hand and be able to do that, 4, 6, 8 times, and we were able to do that.
Take me back to the play when it happened. What was the play? I know it was the second quarter, week 8 against the Raiders.
Yeah.
It looked routine.
Yeah, I mean, beat the tackle inside, and then about 4 or 5 yards in the backfield, I went out to tackle the running back, and I haven't even actually watched it, but I think his knee was driving up through kind of my elbow or my bicep, and it flung my arm back a little bit, and then that's obviously where the pec tore off the bone. But I didn't feel it. I didn't have pain. I didn't have anything. I just felt something was wrong. Like, I honestly thought that my shoulder was out of place. So if you watched afterwards on the TV copy, I saw that I kept trying to put my shoulder back in. I kept trying to maneuver it to get my shoulder back into place because I felt something was off. But then they were kind of going hurry up, so I lined up on the right for the next play, and I went to get down, and I couldn't really get down, so then I knew something was wrong, and I came off to the sideline, and the doctor literally took one look, and he was like, "Your pec's gone."
What did you think then when he told you that on the field?
It sucks. I mean, it sucks. There's no other way to think about it. I mean, it is a. But the thing about that is it's such a fluke. Like, I mean, he happened to hit my arm in the right spot, and my pec tore off the bone. Like, it's such like a fluky thing that I couldn't be that mad about it because it's not like I can control it. It's not like there was anything I was going to do about it on that play. So it sucked.
You had the surgery 2 days later,
right.
And what were the doctors telling you about your prognosis?
They initially told me going into surgery, they said it'd be about a 3 to 4 month recovery. So they said I can do stuff along the way and we'd progress, but it would be about 3 to 4 months.
And you posted on social media, I'm done.
I
right?
mean, yeah, they told me that, so I knew that there was no possibility, so I posted that I was done because I thought I was done.
At what point did you think, or at what point did you start to think, maybe I'm not done?
Well, about 3 days after the surgery, I was feeling really good, and I was kind of shocked at how good I felt. So I texted the doctor and I said, "Doc, I don't know what you did, but I feel really, really good." And he said, "That's great." And then a couple days later, I saw him out of practice, and I walked up to him and I said, "Doc, I feel like weirdly good. Like, is there any possibility, like AFC Championship or Super Bowl, like if we happen to make it that far, would I be able to maybe play?" And he was like, "I can't say anything for sure, but I wouldn't rule it out at this moment." And that kind of left the door open, and that's all I needed was a little sliver of hope.
You say really good, felt weirdly good. Like, what do you mean by weirdly good? You just had surgery.
I mean, I've had a couple surgeries before, sadly, so I know what you feel like a couple days after surgery. I mean, I broke my leg, and so after that, like even 2, 3, 4 days after surgery, there's throbbing pain. Obviously you can't walk, you can't do stuff that you should be able to do. 3 days after my pec surgery, I had no pain. I didn't take any, from the day I walked out of surgery, I didn't take a single painkiller. I didn't feel any pain. I didn't have any, I felt like I could actually move it if I wanted to. I was in a sling, but I felt like if I had to, when I changed my shirt, I didn't have any problem changing my shirt. And I was like, this feels really good. And then we kept progressing.
So what was the rehab process like then? When you're feeling so good, you don't want to mess it up.
Yeah, it was it's uncharted territory, you know. So I was talking to the doctor, and we were talking about, okay, so how do we attack this? And he was like, well,
not with 3 to 4 months in
right,
mind, but
exactly.
how do we attack this? So why have a shot?
Right. So we took a 3 to 4 month timeline, and we said, okay, how do we condense that, because you are feeling so good? And so it basically was just moving up checkpoints and seeing how you felt at that checkpoint. And so, but I had to understand the risks at every single level. So every level that we would try something new, I had to understand that if I try this and it doesn't work, we could be all the way back to the surgery. And so we would do a checkpoint, I'd pass it, and we'd be like, okay. And then we'd move on to the next one, and we'd pass it, and he'd be like, I don't know, this is crazy. So then we move on to the next one, and the next one.
Why was the risk okay? Why were you willing to take the risk?
Because I was comfortable with the consequence. The consequence, same with the consequence right now for this game, is if the worst thing that I asked the doctor, I said, what's the worst case scenario? He said, the worst case scenario is you re-tear the pec off the bone and you get surgery, and it's 3 to 4 months recovery. And so I came to grips with that. And I said, okay, if there's a chance for me to get back on the field, to help my team win football games, I'm okay with that risk. I'm okay with the possibility of re-tearing my pec and having a 3 to 4 month surgery and being perfectly fine for next season. And once I accepted that and was okay with that risk, then it was kind of, okay, let's see what we can do.
The bullets haven't started flying yet. How do you know? I remember you said something to us week 1 of this year. You were taking us back to week 1 of last year.
Right.
And you were like, I was coming off the leg injury, you know, riding on the bus, and I didn't really
Right.
know how it was going to hold up. Like, how are you feeling now headed into this? How are you going to feel coming over to the stadium on Saturday, not really knowing for sure how it's going to hold up?
Right. I'm excited. I'm going to be excited because I've done everything it needs to do, that I can do, obviously, up until this point. We wore full pads in practice. I did full bull rushes. I did run drills. I did tackling drills. I did everything that I needed to do to make myself comfortable with it mentally. Because that's the biggest hurdle, is getting over the mental hurdles and trusting yourself that it is going to be okay. And so once I would pass those hurdles, and once I made a tackle and fell on the ground on my pec, and you pop up and you're like, we're good, then you start to build that confidence. And so I feel very good about where it's at.
Any concerns at all?
I mean, there's no doubt that there is a bit of risk involved, and I understand that there's that risk involved. But like I said, I've come to grips with that risk. So is there a slight concern? Sure. But the pros far outweigh the cons for me, and like I've said this whole time, I'm comfortable with the risk, and I'm okay taking that risk because all I want to do is go out there and help my team.
Well, Bill O'Brien said that you wanted to be activated a month ago. Like, was that even a possibility?
Legally, no, because the rules kept me out until after week 17.
Right. So, but you felt that good?
I felt, you know, I've felt really good this whole time, and I think that that's honestly part of it, is I felt so good, and it's that belief that you can accomplish it. And I think that that's kind of what the doctor was saying the whole time, is he was like, we've never had somebody do this at this stage.
There were 2 options. It's either going to hold up or it's not. Like,
Yeah.
How are you not a little concerned about not knowing which one it's going to be?
Yeah, I mean, when people ask, that's what I say. I say it's either going to hold up or it's not. So for me, it's just go out there and play your game and fly around, because that's the only 2 things that can happen, is it either holds up or it doesn't. But along the way in this whole process, the doctor and I would talk, and he'd say, nobody's done this at this early stage yet. And I'd say, well, have you tried? And he said, no, because we follow this 3 to 4 month timeline. I say, well, if everybody's always followed the 3 to 4 month timeline, how do we know we can't do it this early? And so it was just a little bit of craziness probably, but then a little bit of taking risk and believing that you can do it. And so when I would try something new and we'd get to a new checkpoint, I wouldn't go into that checkpoint saying, it might break here, it might tear, it might tear. I'd go into it saying, okay, this is what I have to do, and we'd do it and move on to the next one. You can't think with like a negative attitude. You can't have a pessimistic mindset when you're trying to do something great. You have to have optimism. You have to have belief that you're going to do it. And I think that's what's helped get me through this whole process, is that there hasn't been a day throughout it where I haven't believed that I could do it. There have been days where I understand the risk and I understand what can happen, but the whole time I've always believed that I could get back.
I know you've come back from injury before, even faster than people expected, coming back in 2016 from the back. That one got re-aggravated, and you said,
Right.
maybe I rushed a little bit. Well, now we know
Yeah.
we've
Right.
accelerated it,
Right.
it a little bit. So did that factor in at all?
That one was a little different, and that one I would treat differently again, just because that's a back. I mean, that's different, and that was a whole different situation. Like we were just talking about, there are two options. The pec holds up strong, it makes it through the game, and I play perfectly fine, or it tears off the bone. I mean, there's no like, it's not gonna tear a little bit. It's either gonna go or it's gonna stay. And so, that to me is like it's concrete. I understand it. I know what's gonna happen. I know how to handle it, and I'm okay with it.
The first couple plays in the game, what's that going to be like?
It's going to be exciting, but I also know that adrenaline can do one of two things. It can elevate your game and take you to a new level, or it can get you so excited that you tire yourself out and you do stuff out of character. And I think that throughout my career, I've learned how to handle that. And you have to harness that adrenaline and use it for good, while also remaining calm and focused and knowing what your job is. And I think that after 9 years in this league, that's something that I'm able to do. So you're going to see me be very, very excited and very hyped to be on the field, but I'm also going to be calm and focused on my job.
When will you know, I got this? Will there be a point in the game, you think, that you'll know, I'm good?
Probably the first big shot on it, whether it's a good bull rush or whether it's a tackle or whether it's the first time that it truly gets into real action, and I pop up from it. I think that's going to be the moment. But I mean, hopefully it's on a sack. That'd be great.
We're going to be looking to see the 3-time Defensive Player of the Year.
Right.
Like, how are you? You haven't played in 8 weeks. How do you
Right.
think you're going to play? Not how the shoulder's going to hold up. How's your game going to look?
I'm excited. I'm excited. Right before I got hurt, I had felt really good. We were the game the week before, we had like 10 quarterback hits, and I was feeling really good, and I felt like I was getting home, and I felt like my moves were hitting, and I was getting very, very confident in the way that I was playing. And the nice thing about this injury, if there is one, is that I've been able to train my legs the whole time. I've been able to run the whole time and do agility, and so that part has never gone away since I went out. So I'm really excited about getting back out there and working with my teammates. And like I said, there's going to be a lot made about this and my injury, but it's all about the team. It's all about wanting to get back out there, to be with my guys, and to help us win football games. And at the end of the day, that's what it's about, is this team winning.
What does it say about this team that you go down in week 8? You're like one of the, faces of the franchise, and here they are. They gave you this chance to
Right.
make it back to play
Right.
in a playoff game.
It says a lot about them. We have so many great guys in that locker room, and I'm lucky to be a part of such a great team. We have talent all over the board, but we have guys who are willing to work and who are willing to put in the time and the effort to be great. And so that's one of the biggest reasons I wanted to get back, is because I love being a part of this locker room where every day we go out to practice and we want to be great and we want to get better. And so I just want to be a part of it.
Now, is there a way that they can harness you up? Like, are you going to be wearing something special that?
I'll have a harness on, but the harness doesn't block me from doing anything forward. I got full range of motion forward, full range of motion up. The only thing it protects me against is out here, it won't let me go past parallel to my, or perpendicular, parallel. I don't know. I'm not going to act like I know. But I can do everything. And the only thing it protects me from is, like, say I was going to make a tackle out here. It'll protect me.
And it feels good. You've worn it for the last couple of weeks.
I've worn it for at least a month, probably 2 months. No, not 2 months, but yeah, I've worn it for at least a month in practice.
It's only
and
been
drills.
2
I know,
months.
yeah, I guess I haven't been wearing it. So, but it feels good. I'm very comfortable in it. It doesn't really restrict me or bother me in any way.
You're hyped.
I'm excited. Can
But
you tell?
You can't be too hyped, though, right?
No, calm and focused. But you have to use it, because the playoffs are exciting, and this is a big time, and you have to have that energy, and we need to get this crowd going. We need to get our fans into it, and I think that that's a big part of this game, and you have to learn how to use and play with the emotion, because that's what sports is. It's all about emotion. It's all about passion. It's all about energy, but it's harnessing that, and it's being able to use that and funnel it into a productive manner. And I have plenty of energy now. I just got to funnel it.
For people who are like, he's crazy. It's way too soon. What's he doing?
I understand. I understand why you would feel that, but you're not in my shoes. I have a chance to go out there in the NFL playoffs with my football team. I feel very good. There's a risk. Don't get me wrong. There is a little bit of risk, but we have hit every single checkpoint we wanted to hit. My strength is where we want it to be. It feels as great as I want it to feel on the practice field. So it's not like I'm doing something crazy dumb. I would never do it if I didn't feel confident in it. And so I feel confident I can play the game I want to play. But at the end of the day, like I said, this is my decision. And it's either going to hold up or it's not. In worst case scenario, it doesn't. I get surgery, 3 or 4 months, I'm back at OTAs with my teammates. So for me, the chance to play in the NFL playoffs on the road to a Super Bowl is worth the possibility of having to go get another surgery and 3 months of rehab. I'll take that risk.
Hi everyone, thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports, more analysis, download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+. We'll see you there.